to Pod Bless America. I'm Jim.
And I'm Dan.
So, Sheriff Lamb, welcome.
I got to bring you two on as my hype man all the time.
All you have to do is just go along. Just put your mask on. Just because I might not agree with it, that doesn't mean I lose my right to parent my kid.
Leave the jokes to me, Chief. This is what gets Jim fired up.
It's not communism that's going to destroy this country. It's not socialism that's going to destroy this country. What's going to destroy this country is apathy. Don't count on anybody coming to save you. It is time to save ourselves.
And there's a saying that nobody hates bad cops more than good cops. That's not just a saying. The overwhelming majority of more than 800,000 police officers in this country that go to work every day are good cops. They're out there day in and day out protecting and serving the communities that they work for. Sometimes some bad cops slip through. By all accounts, Tyre Nichols, a good guy, though in fairness, everyone is a good guy when they die. Here's what I know about Tyre for sure. He was stopped for a traffic offense and was subsequently beat to death. Now, the argument could be made that had he just complied and put his hands behind his back, he would still be here today. Maybe. Because what I saw in that video was nothing short of a gang beatdown by a group of huge so-called officers. Tyre was reportedly 6'3", 150 pounds when he was beaten by 5 officers who looked like they could be playing on an offensive line any given Sunday. At no point did these officers appear professional. In fact, they appeared to be no different than the very criminals they deal with day to day. From their language to their tactics and lack thereof. From pepper spraying each other to celebrating afterward like a pack of wild animals that had just made a kill. Once the beating started, the mob mentality took over. Not one officer on scene did anything to stop it. Not one. Launching a war on police has consequences. Defunding the police has consequences. You are seeing those consequences manifest themselves in Memphis. 5 officers hired between 2017 and 2020 when hiring standards were relaxed, either to get bodies on the street or boxes checked to show how diverse Memphis is. Either way, these men should have never been police officers. I understand that the task force that they were on deals with the lowest denominator on a daily basis, but that's what separates us from them, professionalism. I will support the police every time they are right. I will not be an apologist. With thousands of traffic stops under my belt and fighting my share of resisting suspect, this was not okay. It's never okay. What says you, Dan?
I says they called this the Scorpion Unit, which stands for Street Crimes Operations to Restore Peace in Our Neighborhoods. It says it's been deactivated. Memphis Police Department said they deactivated it and because of this fatal confrontation. And like you just said in your opening, I watched the video one time. That's all I needed to see. It was a stand-up. I'm going to hold them. You're going to punch them. It almost looked like a movie scene by the way they were just launching haymakers at this kid.
It was crazy. There was absolutely no teamwork there. To call this an elite team is just a gross misjustice to actual teams out there. There was no teamwork. This was just a free-for-all on this kid.
Right. On
the phone with us, we've got Kevin McGary, who is the founder, CEO, president of every Black Lives Matters. We've got Warren Capps. Warren is a retired police officer. Retired, Warren? Or just stepped away?
Just retired and stepped away, yeah. Okay. I won a medical disability after 17 years, but yes, did my time.
That's right. And with us today is everybody's favorite black conservative. We got Duane Greene back in studio with us. Duane, what's going on, brother?
And not much, man.
All right.
And if you remember, we've had all 3 of these guys on the show, 2 at the same time, 1 on a totally different show.
Yep.
And when we were thinking about an episode we had to talk about coming up here, we were like, let's get all 3. Let's have a real conversation about it because nobody is.
Sure. Absolutely. So, Kevin, man, what are your thoughts? Where are you at with Memphis right now?
Well, what we've done is I put out a press release earlier today, and then I put out an article. It should be running probably in the next 24, 48 hours. But essentially, here's what I saw, guys. What we witnessed there was inhumane, was grotesque. I mean, that was just absolutely grotesque. And it conveyed that these quote unquote officers had no regard for humanity. They allowed their base evil emotions to come out, and they took it all out on this one young man. Now, some people would say, well, he shouldn't have tried to run. No. They yanked him out of the car. They really took out I don't know what happened, what transpired beforehand, but to see the level of hatred and evil directed at this one young man, kicking him in the head, having him completely defenseless, this showed something other than the narrative of, this is white supremacy and racism, which CNN has been running ever since, right?
Right.
White supremacy and racism. Now, all these guys were black. And so that argument holds no water. And also, when we continue to just go to the race card on this, and this is what I wrote in my article, you'll be seeing in the next couple of days, then it closes the door for serious, rigorous, rigorous investigation into policies and procedures and the breakdowns in the hiring process and psych evaluations. All of that is off the table if you go with a convenient excuse of, it's just racism, it's just white supremacy. So that's the danger, guys, is that if we move on from this, accepting the CNN and all of the provocateur, the race-baiting provocateurs, if we accept their narrative, then we won't have justice on this, really, for this family, because this will happen again.
Right.
As you all have said, this is a direct result of, in my opinion, and I don't have access to all the reports, all the internal procedures and all the policies and everything that govern these folks, but this is the direct result, in my opinion, of a culture that either embraced or sometimes gave a wink and a nod to bad behaviors within that particular subculture, within that particular division or unit. It also is symptomatic of a breakdown of the hiring process.
Yeah, and I wanted to get into that, Kevin, because I was hanging out with a officer from Florida this weekend who was talking with me about it, and he knew about it, but he didn't know all the information. And he goes, "I bet you those guys don't even have 3 years experience on the force."
Yeah, I mean, they were all hired between 2017 and 2020.
Yeah,
all during
had 5, right?
What's that?
Have 5 years, the most.
The most, right?
Yeah,
right. I don't know about the sixth. I don't know about the sixth guy.
Yeah, so this is what happened. The defund the police narrative reigned, right? And then you had seasoned police that were leaving in droves. So therefore, there was a dearth of law enforcement, which meant that they had to hurry up and get some more law enforcement officers on payroll, because in most large cities, and I would imagine Memphis had the same issue, they didn't have enough officers really at certain points in time over the past 3 years to really cover citizens and the citizen requests and the citizen needs.
No.
So they had to, onboard and accelerate the hiring and training process, which did they include the psych evaluation?
No, they lowered all the standards, and you know it.
Yeah.
They lowered the standards to get bodies. It's not even that they accelerated it as much as they ignored existing standards.
Exactly.
And this is
really,
and if you notice, when I opened up with this thing, this isn't about race. I know CNN wants to push that, right? But at no point did I mention that the officers were black and that Tyre was black.
Right.
It has no bearing on this. What this is a systemic breakdown of these, dare I say, democratically controlled cities that either want to be woke and show everybody how diverse they are. Look at all these young black men we're hiring from the neighborhood, or because they've defunded and made everybody leave in droves, like you said, now they're panic hiring. Now they're saying, hey, we don't even have the people to answer calls right now. I don't even care. Let them in. A little bit of weed, no problem. A little bit of coke, no problem. Oh, he's got a felonious assault, but that was 10 years ago. No problem. Bring them on. And this is what you get right here.
So just to put caps on that, I think that the danger for all of us is if we allow them to get away with this cheap, simplistic, convenient narrative of racism, then the serious work that needs to be done in this department and other departments around the country is not going to be done. So we cannot allow this narrative to we have got to stand up against it and say, no. It's not that easy. Nope. Do the homework. Roll up your sleeves, get rigorous with your process, start to finish, front to back and figure out what happened. This is not a race issue.
I know better than
That's
this.
what we need to say.
I should have looked at the CNN opinion piece, but I saw the headline that said, just because they're black doesn't mean this isn't racist, and we're going to tell you why. And I stopped right there.
As you should have.
Do you know what is CNN's basis for calling this racist? Do you know?
They're a bunch of Marxist agitators. And so if you guys know anything about Marx, my latest book just came out 3 months ago. I think it was after I talked to you guys. I'm not sure.
It was after.
But I don't know if you got woked up yet or if you got the book. That's the name of the book. But
I got it.
But anyway, if you know anything about Marx, you know that he called for Marxist revolutionaries. Now, these revolutionaries would have one primary overarching goal, and that goal is to completely undermine and subvert every existing hegemonic enterprise, tradition, idea. So anything that is the prevailing narrative about America's traditions or America's institutions, and especially policing and gender and all this stuff, is supposed to be turned completely upside down. So CNN is only doing what good Marxist revolutionaries would do, and that is to gaslight us constantly and try to agitate so our institutions that we rely on to protect and serve are completely undermined and are become untrusted and untrustworthy, to the extent that then we have a chaotic and unresponsive populace.
Right.
And so that's their goal. And so they're fulfilling their goal quite literally every single day.
I would like to say this real quick before we get to Warren. When we had you on before and Duane was here, Duane put up several posts afterwards, amazed by what he learned by you. What was it about Marx? It was.
Yeah.
It was the posts about Marx.
Yeah, that's going to take us down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. No. But Duane promptly went out, got your book.
Yeah.
I'll need a full detailed report on the book sent emailed to me.
That ain't happening.
Wow.
So,
but speaking of putting the caps on it.
Yeah, let's put the caps on it, Warren Caps. So listen, man. So a guy who's in law enforcement along with me, who's a go-getter, who believes in doing things the right way, believes in the community he serves. What's your take on this?
Right. So Kevin makes some great points. And historically, I'm 56 years old. So watching back from, the West Coast of California to, I call it, the days of pre-Rodney King to moving back after the Marine Corps to here in Ohio, there is a subculture that goes on. And you see the joy that, and the bigger question is, which clearly I've heard the chief of Memphis, she is not sure, which is kind of somewhat embarrassing and awkward, of their hiring and like the, crimes that they were allowed to have had during the hiring process for the 5 officers. And I'm sure she was up against certain things, but it's clearly a supervision issue. It's clearly a lack of, understanding the department. And then also back during the Clinton administration, when we started doing community policing, it's the same concept. We've gotten away from getting with the pillars of the community, and we've gotten away with, my wife's a 21-year teacher in a, low and reduced, school district in Ravenna, Ohio. And so that's just where I was officiating tonight. And they're doing brilliant work. I don't think I know the demographics and the racial issues are always going to be there, but I think that the subculture that happens, and with these guys, they were given a task, and these guys were just let loose like, rabid dogs. And that they're products of their own community in Memphis. And it goes without saying that Memphis has a 300 and some person homicide rate each year. So clearly there's a deeper issue. There is, family issues. There are things that affect, like I've always said, so go to court, so go to schools, so go your community. And, that's the bigger, deeper issues. And then the hiring practices. And, but just like in the Marine Corps, we saw each other as green Marines. There wasn't color. There was green Marines. And, and that's how it should be. There should be accountability amongst police departments, but definitely supervision is definitely lacking. And I think as the story comes out, obviously they acted swiftly. I definitely believe in due process. I definitely believe in, watching the cases unfold, just like Ferguson, Missouri and Michael Brown and the things that happened. They weren't true. And that was found out later about how things unfolded.
And I agree with that.
And so
I agree with that. But this video is pretty damning.
Exactly. No question. No question. But I don't think that trumps due process, right?
Nope,
for anybody.
absolutely not.
So let the facts unfold, regardless of Benjamin Crump rolling into town. And what I did appreciate, I think it helps all of us as human beings come together, is that Al Sharpton came in and said, "Did you think your blackness," and this is a quote, "was going to cause us not to say something?" And that was in reference to the officers.
Yeah.
End quote. And it's like, no, a human being lost their life based on, but once again, I think that you have to look within the Memphis Police Department. And as you all know, especially you, Jim, you're going to find out that there'll be a federal consent decree. There'll be a civil rights violation, which there should be. Not only prosecutors prosecuting these individuals to the fullest extent of the law, but then the Department of Justice under, Merrick Garland. And like you talk about with the Democratic sentiments, they need to swoop in and put the Memphis Police Department under a federal consent decree and change their whole mindset from hiring to putting guys on the road to seeing what's going on.
But what are the chances of that happening when the hiring standards are being lowered because of their very policies? So how? So how do you expect them to come in? How do you expect them to come in and do something?
Well, I absolutely expect them to come in and do something. Just like there was a federal consent decree after, Chauvin and the Minnesota situation happened. Yeah, that's what the Department of Justice should do. A fair, balanced approach, regardless of race or creed or anything else. They should absolutely come in.
Sure, they
because
should.
That's where the answers are going to lie. There's where the answers are going to lie with the Memphis Police Department. And then you're going to find out the troubles and the shortcomings and, you're going to find out about tax base, and you're going to find out about the politics and the policies. And
are you? Because me and Duane were talking about this, right? If this had been 5 white officers who beat Tyre to death, there would be nothing else on the news about it. Your phone would be blowing up with notification after notification after notification about this story. I'll tell you what, I'm not getting any notifications. You know what I just got? I got one that Shirley from Laverne and Shirley died. That's what I got.
Yeah,
I'm getting nothing.
Can I chime in here real quick? I'm sorry, real quick. You brought up something I wanted to make sure to bring up. If this were 5 officers that were white and a white man, would CNN be running hour to hour, wall to wall saying, this is a racist white supremacist murder? No, they wouldn't, because it would have been white on white. There would be nothing said about it. It would be going on. Sorry.
You would have never heard about it.
No, you're right. You're 100% right. So here's the thing too. It's not just, you can, I don't even know how to phrase this. You can take the boy out of the criminal life, but you can never take the criminal out of the boy. You know what I mean?
But I saw the pictures of all those officers, and none of them looked like a thug to me. They all looked like
Well, let me show you. Let me show you.
Family Matters.
So, let me show you. Let me show you how. Let me show you how this traffic stop unfolded. Okay. All right. So now remember, even Memphis is saying that this was a stop simply for reckless operation. It's a traffic violation.
Well, I thought the mayor came out and said they wasn't sure.
Well, the mayor is different than the police chief.
No, I'm sorry, not the police chief. The whatever her name is, Carolina. I can't pronounce.
Well, they have come out and said it was for a traffic violation. Right. That it was reckless. Now, if there's something else on top of that, I don't know.
This is before she let out the video. She claimed she didn't.
No, since now they're saying it was a reckless operation complaint.
Okay.
Now, if you've watched the video, you have 2 unmarked cars that have this kid boxed in, no lights. The third guy comes up behind him and puts on some bullshit lights on his dash. Nothing, no light bar, no marked car. Okay. This is at night. All right. Now I'm not making excuses, but it's at night. And you got these guys jumping out. Now, Warren, when you would stop somebody for reckless stop, how'd that stop go typically?
If it's reckless operation and, we're going to approach it just like, typically like a normal traffic stop, obviously we're going to show caution. I don't know that, depending on the circumstances, whether we're going to draw down on them or take them out for felony stop or, I know times are changing, but reckless operation of a vehicle compared to being able to articulate, and once again, I think that these people have weapons, and being able to articulate circumstances and situations that make you fear or think that there is, some type of danger afoot
Sure.
where the officers are in danger. And each situation is different. And I hope people take the time to dissect and separate each and every situation.
And if that were the case, I would expect Memphis to release that video, okay, to show
Absolutely.
this is why our officers reacted the way they did. Here is video number 1 of the traffic stop. All right, there are no other videos.
You're not going to have that because, first of all, the politics involved. Second of all, there's a mayor's job at stake. Mm-hmm. Third of all, it's something that's sweeping across the nation. The whole eyes are on Memphis, Tennessee. And then you got CNN wanted to talk about race relations, and Benjamin Crump has just got into town.
Well, here's
starting to talk about
what I'm saying is here's why I think that it was just simply a reckless op. Because if it wasn't, Memphis would be releasing some video, part of the badge or the body cam
that led up to it,
to be able to say, "Hey, look,
yeah,
this isn't exactly as reported. This is why we acted."
And I'll
this
tell you
way.
what, Jim. Before you play that, my mentality when I watched it, my mind went right to this guy led them on a chase. Adrenalines were high. He put their lives at risk.
No mention.
No, but that's how I felt watching it.
Right. So here it is. Here is the very first body cam they released.
Get your ass blows the fuck off! Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out the fucking cup! Damn, I didn't do anything! Hey, I didn't turn your ass around! Alright. On the ground. You don't do that, okay? Get on the fucking ground! Get on the ground! Okay. I think tase your ass! Alright, I'm on the ground. Lay down! Yes, sir. Please stay on the ground! I think to tase you! Get on the ground! One! Now! I tase him! Alright, okay. Turn your bitch ass back. Break your shit. Okay, dude, damn! Turn the fuck around. Put your fucking hands on your back! Bitch, put your hands on your back while I break. Okay, stop. I'm gonna knock your ass the fuck out. You guys are really doing a lot right now. Bro, lay down. I'm just trying to go home. Lay down.
So that's it. That is the start of the traffic stop. We're calling this guy a bitch. We're threatening to knock his ass out, right? Where is the professionalism in this? Where is one guy giving commands? Or where is one guy saying, hey, I need to see a driver's license? Yeah. No, we're going to get right to get the fuck out the car, bitch. I'm going to knock your ass out.
You're going to get blowed up.
You're going to get blowed up.
Yeah, and also if you guys heard on the media reports, which it'll come out, they'll slow it down and break it down frame by frame. But I'm pretty sure one of those officers said something about wasn't stop when they were chasing it. It was stomp him.
Yeah. Oh, when he ran away, the one guy turned around to the other guy and said, I hope they beat his ass. That's what he said while he was running away. Right. And then you know what they did? They beat his ass.
Well,
Memphis has a problem.
They pieced him out. They pieced him out for sure.
Duane, we're just talking over you, man. You just sit there. You're too nice.
But Duane, you heard Warren said everybody's green, right? To him, so let Duane Greene get in here, huh? What did you think when you first saw it?
Duane Greene.
Well, I figured it was like a gang beatdown, basically.
Yeah. At what point did you look at this and go, man, these racist ass cops?
At the very beginning, I knew they were racist, man. But
as soon as I saw the blue lights.
Yeah. And I get it. CNN was trying to portray it as since cops are inherently racist. So therefore, if you're a cop around all these other racist cops.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yes. You're inherently. So
they brought it up that, hey, man, even though you're a black guy, as soon as you become a cop.
You're a racist. Yes. Yes. That's what that's how I got it. It's like you're.
You're guilty by association.
Yes. Yeah. Well, simulated. Yeah. I don't know if you watch.
I can appreciate the words, right? The language. There is a time and a place for language. I get that. I've done it. Warren's done it.
You do it to me all the time in text message.
But I get it. But it's not right out of the gate. It's not. And this kid, you listen to him. He was being respectful.
He was like, you guys are being super extra right now.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for him.
I know, right? He's like, man, okay. And he was. Listen, they told him to get on the ground. He's on the ground. Is he laying down like they wanted? No. But he's also got 5 guys screaming at him, different commands, telling him, this kid, I tell you right now, he is shutting down. I mean, he is in fear of his life, and he's got 5 beasts Just huge guys.
The dogs were running.
Yes.
They were coming for him.
That is exactly it.
And then fight or flight kicks in.
Yep.
And that kid chose the flight.
Right. Well, and you know what? I'll be honest with you. Normally I say don't run and you don't have anything to worry about. If I was that kid, I'd be running too.
It almost seemed personal.
You think there was something
It almost seemed personal. Yeah. I mean, to right off the rip like that, I know he didn't have a criminal record at all, from what I
don't
hear.
know. Yeah, I don't know.
And for them to come at him like that right off the rip.
He dated somebody's sister?
I know that's a rumor. I ain't going that route, but it seems personal.
That's a great point you make. And one of the things that I thought about, I don't know if that was Kevin or Duane saying that, but that's a great point. And I was thinking, if these guys are patrolling the neighborhoods under the Scorpion unit and they're in Memphis all the time, their whole mindset is going after that criminal element, and that's how they're treating people. And so they're relating to those bad guys like that. And I wondered, had they seen him before?
Yeah. Well,
and we're laying for him, or just, how he was conducting himself. Because their reputation amongst the city of Memphis, which is large. And I was going to ask you guys also, how many guys do they have, Jim, on Memphis Police Department, the department? Is it a couple thousand? I mean, how many officers do they have?
I bet it's not that many. Dan's looking it up now. I bet it's not that many. Right. It's going to be a few hundred, I would get. Maybe.
I don't know.
It's got to be more than that, right?
City.
I don't know, man.
Exactly.
650,000.
Can't find nobody.
Yeah.
But they got a population of 650,000, right?
Yeah. Hollywood, Florida. I went down there and took a job down there. And, that's a big department down there. And they were at 550 when I was there. So, but you got to remember too, how many are they down? I don't know what percentage they've lost, but.
And that's the bigger picture. I'm not over this incident, which is horrific, right? But now the policing and the situation and the way things are unfolding, there is, with all the TikTok videos and people, standing up. I personally am a little annoyed at the guy who wanted to go in and do videos of the First Amendment, constitutionally protected videos in the post office with police officers to try to prove a point. To me, really, the job is hard enough. What are you hoping to accomplish by sitting there messing with law enforcement and in courts and stuff? To me personally, like Kevin said, in my opinion, I just don't think that serves a purpose. And this is the culture and the time and place we're in, where everybody is going to argue and they want to, they want to say their piece and hold court on the scene. And that's just not possible. In addition to training, supervision, and a mindset, but I think we're going to learn a lot about Memphis, Tennessee.
Yep, for sure. Kevin, man, feel free to jump in now.
It says they have 1,900 employees, so it doesn't tell me how many.
For the police department?
For the police department themselves. And they did break down the demographics. It is 52% black, 47% white, and 1% Hispanic, 84% male, and 16% female. So I thought it would have been a little bit more than 50-50.
Me too, because the city is 65%.
Yeah, every bit of it, right?
Black, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually just looking. I see Carolyn Davis. Is it Carolyn? Is that how you pronounce it?
It ain't spelled Carolyn.
Is it Saralyn? Maybe it's Saralyn.
Damn, Jim, you're racist.
I don't know. I thought it was Carolyn too. So
you're racist too, Duane.
It's not spelled.
Duane is racist too.
I have been told that. So.
By Auntie B.
All right. So anyway, it says here that she was fired from her last job, which
Atlanta.
I didn't realize.
Oh, you fail up
after a botched probe. Yeah.
Yeah, she got caught up with a. It sounded like she was protecting. Yeah, she was protecting one of her officers' husband from getting investigated.
Right, but don't forget, in 2021, she was the first female and first African American chief of police.
Right.
EIE.
You know what?
Oh, what's that stand for?
So Kevin, here's what we're talking about, right? It's top down. You bring her in here after she's been fired for interfering with an investigation, for lying, and now we're going to expect her to be truthful here. But it's from top down. You've brought her in after she's been fired, and that is the culture you have brought to Memphis. And now you're going to sit back and you're going to be shocked that this happened?
Right. Shocked that she gets promoted to the Justice Department?
Yeah.
I'm going to throw out my misogyny here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so you're breeding.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was about to say, a whole bunch of alpha males want to be underneath a woman?
Oh, I tell you right now, that is a real thing. There's a lot of officers at Memphis PD that do not like working for her. I can assure you of that. It is still a male-dominated profession. And, right or wrong, that's the way it is. And you're right. They're alpha males, and there is a whole lot of guys out there that no matter what she does are going to be like, nah.
Because I always find it hard to believe that in a male-dominated field, at any place, that the woman is the best candidate for the chief of police.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know who she was up against.
Yeah, you're really going.
Yeah, so
he said the quiet part out loud.
Oh my goodness, you're gonna get notifications now, Jimmy.
You know what, Dwayne's a misogynistic racist.
Yeah, we can add another S to him.
Oh,
You know what though? No.
you're stepping in it right here, bro.
Oh man. Uh-oh.
Listen, man, there is no quiet part. There's no quiet part. You know what it is? That's common sense, and those are questions that need to be asked. Yeah. Those are questions that
And
need to be asked before. What's that?
It's paramilitary.
It is.
It's built on paramilitary, and anything combat related, you generally see males in command officer positions. And that's what society, and I know they're trying to soften the look. They're trying to, Summit County, we have Candy Fathery, the, female sheriff of Summit County. But also I have a question for the other guys also, is that I remember in Akron years ago that when they were talking about hiring practices and, when I went through the police academy up at Case Western Reserve and stuff, we had CMHA officers. There is a differences in hiring standards and who's willing to go to those departments and what their mindset is. Is it, how do you, because I was told and heard talks of, you can't take a product of the environment and then make them someone who polices it.
Right. I agree with that. So, Kevin, what do you think on that? Can you take a product of the environment and have them police that environment?
No, I think there's a lot of cases across the country where that has worked. I don't think that there's a de facto way to do it. I think that as long as you get competent people who are earnest and honest and law-abiding themselves, that you could definitely take from the surrounding communities and have them police their own communities. But if, like we're all sort of indicating, that there was a bit of a frenzy to fill slots because, the defund movement had a lot of people retiring early and all this kind of moving around, then, but yet, and so many left that you had a real dearth of law enforcement. You could have had civil unrest throughout Memphis at any given point in time. Then you're in a hurry to get bodies on the street. And a lot of the, standard protocols for onboarding police officers may have been skipped, learning. And in that case, yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, learning what I know now about, I don't want to mess this up again. And you know what? She goes by CJ. Knowing what I know now about CJ Davis, I could tell you this, that any law enforcement officer from around that area who could have laterally transferred over to Memphis will pass based on them hiring her, because everybody can see what it was, right? There is absolutely no white male chief anywhere in the country who interfered with an investigation and was fired from their job that is going to be hired by Memphis PD. Everybody saw what this was, and you have lost every one of your good candidates who were going to come laterally, who were going to leave the smaller towns and want to maybe come work in Memphis.
And make a difference.
They're not going to come want to work for CJ Davis. They know her story, and they know why she's where she is.
Well, even black male chiefs, same boat. Black male chief be in the same boat as a white male chief. Knowing he's going up against her, he's got no chance.
Sure. So anyway, Kevin, sorry, go ahead, man.
Yeah, so right now we see where, because there was such an emphasis on having, gender be the primary overriding decision for hiring the next police chief in Memphis, perhaps, and not just intense competence. I mean, Memphis is still amongst the highest homicide and or crime rates in the country. Why would you not ensure that the person that you're hiring is extremely competent? Instead, you're going to hire an also-ran that was run out of our old city, fired, and put her in this role because you could say, hey, we're so woke now, we can hire a female and she's leading our police force and we're going to be kinder, gentler, better, blah, blah, blah. Well, now we see where those policies get us, right? She comes in, she's drinking water from a fire hose because she's trying to figure out how to fill all these slots. She's probably cutting corners with the hiring and psych process. And she hires folks from the community. And a lot of these guys, even if they didn't have a record, if they're just street boys, man, they've been around and they like to just scrap and like to just, chop it up and do what they do in the community. You still can end up with some real bad characters, man. And so now you have this, and then you build a subculture around them with the Scorpion group internally that they feel like we're the elite group, we're invincible. We have certain, protocols and authorities we can do that standard beat cops can't do because we're part of this special unit. And then who knows how that really plays out, right? And so it really is a terrible, I really, really, really feel bad for the guy who lost his life, for Tyre Nichols. And I feel really horribly bad for his family. I mean, just imagine their grief. Kid, they're expecting him home for dinner and he doesn't come home. And then they find out he's in the hospital because he's been beat. And for days they thought, okay, he's just, maybe he just got into an altercation. Then he dies. And then these videos come out. I mean, could you imagine the horror for his family, his close family, his mom, dad, and family? This is just really, really heart-wrenching for that family as well. And all people involved really need our prayers, and Memphis needs to heal. But the only way we're going to get around to a solid resolution to this and proper healing is to get to the real root cause of what the problems were and to really sincerely do something about it. And the problems were not racism and white supremacy.
Well, I
could dismiss that one off top.
I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. And here's why. Because this illustrious organization, you may have heard of them, called Black Lives Matter. They came out and issued a statement. All right. And they said 5 police officers brutally beat Tyre to death. Although the media has spent a great amount of time drawing attention to the fact that the police officers are black, as if that is important, let us be clear. All police represent the interest of capitalism and impel state-sanctioned violence.
Systemic racism.
Anyone who works within a system that perpetuates state-sanctioned violence is complicit in upholding white supremacy. Now, keep in mind that the people that are saying this all make money from racism.
Yes.
Right? They need this to be racist.
Right. Absolutely.
And there is a segment, the
Obamas put out a press release yesterday and pointed to Black Lives Matter, put their website in their press release saying, hey, we need to stand against, and go to Black Lives. Even though Black Lives Matter is, apparently under fraud and malfeasance and all kinds of investigations in different states, they've absconded with over $100
It's just some people. It's not the movement. It's just some people.
Yeah. It's not, not the movement.
Racist.
We were hijacked.
You're racist too.
Right.
This is what they've been asking for: black people to join the force for years out of the community. But now,
East Cleveland's the same.
Yeah, but now you're coming out saying they do it every time. If you're a racist if you join this group. You're a racist if you're a Republican. You're a racist if you where your Uncle Tom or something.
We talked about that, right? Uncle Tom.
Yeah. So now you're going to be a racist if you join the police force. So how many moral value people, black men, will want to join the force now? After seeing these saying, you're a racist.
Especially those in those neighborhoods.
Yes. They don't want to join that. Why would they want to be a part of that?
All the people they grew up with are saying, man, you're an Uncle Tom. I never thought you were like this.
Yep.
No, you're right. And for the record, I am 100% on board with police departments reflecting the communities they serve, right? There is no doubt in my mind that a strong black kid from inner city New York is going to have a lot bigger impact on that neighborhood than white Jim Larkin from suburbia Ohio.
Right. Especially if you know the people in the neighborhood. Because if they know how old man Joe act they can stop a lot of stuff before somebody that don't know old man Joe.
Right.
Yeah. And that's just the way it is. But if you're going to demonize black men from going into the force, you're going to have who's going to be there?
Well, did you know any guys from your neighborhood that became cops in the city? Or was that too hot to touch back then?
I don't know many.
Back then, how old do you think he is?
I'm just saying. You talk about
cops.
the 90s.
You got a little bit of gray in your beard, dude.
Talk about the 90s and the early 2000s.
I mean, you look good.
I'm distinguished now.
I'm
Because he has
distinguished.
children.
Distinguished.
But I don't know any cops from my neighborhood.
I know this asshole that we went to school with that became a cop.
Who?
His name was Jim Larkin.
All right, listen to everybody. Y'all cackling like a bunch of hens. You know it wasn't that funny. Just stop.
No,
Dan ain't going to kick you off this show. I might. Come on.
No. At first, you had the chest out. And
But that's different. That's a whole different thing. Every cop goes through that.
Yeah, and then you
first
turn
5
it around.
years, man. Yeah, first 5 years, you're untouchable, bro.
Yeah,
untouchable.
Well, I don't know. People would beg to differ. You went 10 or 15 as an asshole, and then you straightened out.
Yeah, I mean, you have that. That's half the problem with asshole cops.
Wait a minute, are we talking about me again?
I'm talking about.
How did this show turn into this?
I'm talking about
Kevin. Can I get some help here?
I'm talking about asshole cops who I've been pulled over countless times. I got away. I mean, they unticketed, whatever. No, I never got beat up, but I have been where they threw my license back in my lap. And I'm like, wait a minute,
Treated
man.
you like shit.
Yeah, and it's like, and you got to hurry up and calm back down before.
Let me ask you this, Wayne. You're Tyre Nichols, right? That's you. That's Duane Greene in that car instead of Tyre. What do you think happens? Do you think it matters at that point how respectful you are?
I don't know if it mattered at that time. That's why it almost seemed personal.
I don't remember who said it, if Kevin said it or if Warren said it, or at that point, is the pack of dogs hunting? Is there no stopping it?
But I don't know what you do in that situation. I would say I wouldn't run, but I think they were still gonna beat them up a little bit, rough them up. So, but when you're fighting back now they feel like they have just yes,
cause.
yeah, you cause an issue. Now you just cause to do it. If you just lay there like Martin Luther King and then getting the hoses or whatever,
maybe. You're still going to
get beat up. You're still going to get beat up.
The fight or flight.
At least you can know, hey, those guys were the idiots in this point. And you said you might, hopefully you still live.
Listen, we kicked a guy out of a party one time. We were in high school, and he brought the whole city of Lorraine back to the party. And I was walking to my car, and this whole sea of people walked toward me. And I didn't know how many of them it was going to take to whip my ass, but I knew how many they were going to use, bro. And I ran. Okay? Right. Because my mama didn't raise no fool.
That's a different.
That's what I'm saying. He got to that point where he was like, I got to dip.
But I just don't know, man, because because now they created a situation where fear and hatred is already in the black community of the cops. But now if you keep saying just run, run, run.
All right, let me ask you this. You know me, right? You know a lot of cops, and you know we're pretty good guys.
Yes.
But when you get stopped at night by a white cop, does that thought still go through your mind? And why? Is it because of the media?
I don't have when I go to different towns, like if I'm in like the South for no unstrange reason I get pulled over, it's like, oh man. But that thought, when I'm in a different town, Elyria, Lorraine, North Ridgeville, doesn't bother me. But when I get outside my element, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm out here in the boondocks.
But what are you basing that on? Are you basing that on social media and the media?
Just my own stupid thoughts. Like, man, anything can happen out here in the boonies, Man, I'm not saying that.
So Kevin, you hear him. It's nothing other than what he's heard, what he's seen. How do we stop this? Right? Well, I get that we have to stop it top down in the police departments, but how do we start reaching out to folks and say, hey, look, the media is not right. Stop subscribing to the fear.
Yeah, I think police have a real heavy lift on this over time. But I do think that as police officers engage with community, especially at schools, become more visible at schools, not to police the schoolyards, but as a goodwill gesture. Maybe you're helping with toy drives, maybe you're helping with clothing, maybe you're helping with something, maybe you're partnering with a school district, maybe you're partnering with a particular school, maybe you're, your kids are inviting you in to do a show. I don't know, but police officers must be more present in a non-police situation. And then over time, that generation coming up that's been growing up now for the past, let's say, 10 years with the mindset that police are bad, over time, we can maybe begin to plateau and then curve down that perception. Right now, man, I tell you what, in certain communities across the country, the police officer, the overall perception is not a good one in certain communities. And, but here's the other side of it. When those same people who don't have positive perceptions of police, when they go home and they have a spouse that's out of control, or they have a child that's gone missing, or they have a situation in their home, whatever it may be.
Yes, sir.
Guess who they're calling?
Yes, sir.
They're calling the police. And so, I mean, it's this strange razor's edge kind of thing, because they have this bad impression, but who are you going to call?
That's true. I mean, you get a lot of these people that are like, man, I ain't never calling the police. And then all of a sudden they start getting beat up.
To add to what Kevin is just saying, I'm right with you as you went half the way. Yes, put police officers in some non-policing function. But like I said, the years I spent in policing, and my wife's 21 years as a middle school teacher, families still have a civic responsibility to teach compliance.
Oh, you're talking Kevin's language right now.
You're not walking away from a police officer when they're asked to talk to you. I just officiated a basketball game tonight and did a delay of game warning with a kid from Ravenna that sat there and wanted to think things were on his timeline. You talk to a guy here that, I mean, these kids we need to be like Israel and have these kids go through military because the families and stuff bear responsibility as well. And so that's where the stuff starts with.
You know what? I'll get off. I'll get off this whole Tyre Nichols thing for a second. I mean, you're speaking Kevin's language right here, right? I mean, Kevin, I think I'm right, believes very strongly in the black family.
Oh, you go back to episode 48 when we had these two on, and we talked about that.
Black family needs to be in place, right?
Yeah.
Family in general.
That is the problem, man. You want to say right now that it's the police, that it's society, that it's the education system that's bringing you down. It's not. It's
and
that
Jim,
you don't know your father.
Kevin makes a huge point, and I think I told you this, Jim, that the city of Columbus and their division of police, they started a program where they're teaching young inner city youth how to tie Windsor knots for young males that don't have fathers. And that, I was like, how do we get that up here? How do we get that where the police officers are teaching those young men how to tie and mentor to them and develop those relationships?
You know what, man? You're onto something there, right? I don't remember us talking about that.
That's the city of Columbus.
Right. No, I don't remember us talking about that. But can you imagine having a police department now that talks to these kids, has these kids in, and teaches them how to
tie? Male officers. We're talking about the male officers.
Right, right. Being a strong male influence. Teach them how to fix their bike. Teach them how to go fishing. Right. I mean,
well, that's anybody. It's like when it used to be baseball coaches, or whatever coach, when they was in the community. Do I need to see them? It's tough to bring them into your neighborhood and have them like a police state.
Sure.
So, but if they're just there doing a community service almost, but how?
Well, I mean, they got to be on the clock and they got to be dressed down. They're on the clock and they're dressed down.
I don't know how much you go.
Can you do it? Can you be on the clock dressed down?
Well, you could, but I don't think you need to. I think they need to see. I think they need to see police officers in uniform
Doing good.
I
love seeing those videos where you see the cops in the hood playing basketball with the kids and having a good time, and some of them cops got moves and can play, and they get automatic respect.
Right. Well, yeah, until there's a complaint, and then those guys end up getting in trouble because they're supposed to be working. I see it time and time again. It's ridiculous.
You would ruin it for me.
But Kevin, I want to touch on that. I mean, we touched on it in episode 48, but I want to touch on that. How important that and by all accounts, Tyre Nichols had a good family. His family appeared to love him. They said that he was out taking pictures of the sunset. Now, that is corroborated by some of his social media where he had posts up saying that he is an aspiring photographer, that he loves to be out in nature taking pictures. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. Everybody was going to college. Everybody was just about to turn their life around when they get killed by the police. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But how important is this? Is the family aspect of this to you, Kevin?
Well, I think it is vitally important. If you look at the backgrounds of the 5 or 6 police officers now,
I didn't
and whether they come from a home that was maybe violent or what their background was. Again, there's a lot of unknowns here because we don't know whether they went through any, psych testing.
Hold on. I'm going to stop you just real quick, just because I want to say that is an amazing point. Right? Everybody's going to dissect Tyre Nichols and say what his home life was. Oh my God, he got arrested once for drinking too much. Oh my God, Tyre Nichols got caught with marijuana. But who's going to look into the home life of these officers? Because I would like to know, now that you bring that up, I'd like to know if there was a father in the house. I would like to know if there was a father in the house beating the mother, beating the kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the bottom line is Tyre, from my perspective, from what I can tell, Tyre was seemed to be a law-abiding citizen. I didn't see anything that would confirm otherwise. So why are we looking at Tyre anyway at this point? We look at the guys who did the violence, and the guys who did the violence are the police officers who would have what kind of a man. What kind of a human being would see the grotesque beating of another human being and not say, all right, guys, I think we got him. That's good. Let's just, let's go. Not stop it at all. They went all in, all of them.
Yes.
And what kind of you must have come from some horrible upbringing and horrible street life or home life that would allow you to do that or to even see that, to be in that environment and not raise a flag and say, I think we may be stepping over here, guys. Come on, let's, he got our point, I mean,
you know what? And that's, and I appreciate you saying it like that, Kevin, that, I think he sees our point. But I'm telling you right now that me and Warren are on that scene and we're putting my size 12 boot right in somebody's chest when we see him hitting somebody like that. I'm telling you right now. I would karate kid that cop right in the sternum and get him off of Tyre. There's, and I can appreciate it when people say, look, he's had enough. It takes more than that, right? You have to stop the dog pack at that point.
That's a great point. And once again,
you pick the biggest guy. You pick the biggest guy punching him, just like as you walk into prison, right? Yep. The first day in prison, you find the biggest guy and you lay him out. You send a message. You walk up to that guy who should be playing center for the Chicago Bears, and you kick him right in the chest and knock him off of that guy, and everybody else is going to listen.
But also, when you're on the scene, the other cops know that you had enough time and you're calling the shots. These guys all had 2.5 years, 3 years in, 5 years max. And they were just in that pack mentality. You're on the scene.
That's
you're
fair.
calling the shots. They know. They know when Jim says enough, it's enough. But there's no order there.
And my guys, I am very clear that snitches don't get stitches with me. You overstep, man, and we got problems. You're no better than the guy we're arresting. Mm-hmm. Warren, go ahead.
Jim, you have to be fair about the fact that in us doing the job, and I encourage those guys, and I would ask Kevin and Duane both. Have you done a ride along? To go out and do, not excusing anything. However, coming up through the system and coming up through law enforcement it's difficult for a junior officer to go over and tell a senior officer, that's enough.
No, it is.
Okay.
It is.
And
it's career suicide.
A TikTok video. Right. I just saw a TikTok video or somebody on something where it's body camera footage and a female takes a supervisor who was crossing the line and on body camera and takes the guy's gun belt. 2 officers, same department, to a supervisor and pulls him back, and he grabbed her by the throat and said, "Don't ever put your hands on me again." Now, that right there, and it was 2 white officers, is something that has to be addressed, and that supervisor should absolutely be reprimanded.
Yep.
Because he's right on body camera, and it needs, and see, once again, and I know that Kevin and Duane both can appreciate that the thin blue line and the stuff behind the scenes, stuff gets covered up. Supervision gets excused. They get kind of a pass here and there, and it's like, no. And that ought to be top to bottom, where, no, the good old boy network should not prevail. And that is prevalent in law enforcement.
Okay, so we brought up due process in the beginning. Let's talk about that so we can close this out. My question is, out of the can all 5 people get charged with murder, or do you think one gets stuck with the murder and the rest get vehicular homicide?
Man, when you're sitting there watching somebody get stomped to death and any reasonable and prudent officer should have stopped it, you're done.
Yeah, they're complicit. No, they're complicit. Yeah, they're complicit. No, they're just as
well they should be. Okay. As well they should be.
Absolutely.
Okay. They all had a part in it. Because any one of them could have stopped it at any time.
I don't want to see it escalate out of control if 3 out of the 5 get jail and one of them walks, and then all of a sudden
who knows? I mean, that's court, though. That's court, right? So that's what court does. Court says, hey, whoever talks first, you're going to get the sweetheart deal. That's what court does. The system's broken. It is. I mean, the system needs to be fixed. We can only do what we can do, but the system is it's the best we have, but it's imperfect.
You're exactly right. I hope the media, and I'm sure Kevin can, speak to this more intelligently than I can, is I hope the media pays attention to the court case, and we do get into the officers' backgrounds, and we do get into it as deeply, as rightfully so, as Derek Chauvin in the Minnesota situation. Hopefully this gets the national spotlight with these officers the same way in the police culture, and that this cannot be something. But when you start to ask those questions and you start to peel back the layers of the onion, you better be ready for the answers. And that chief bears responsibility as well.
Listen, man, I've been ready. I've been ready for years. Peel back the whole onion, right? Every time something like this happens, it hurts. Listen, Memphis is going to hurt North Ridgeville. Memphis is going to hurt Cuyahoga Falls. It's every time something like this happens, it's a black eye on policing all over the country. It makes it harder for me. Now, listen, the community that I serve, they stand by us. But we stop a lot of folks from Cleveland, right? We're dealing with a lot of folks from out of here, and it's going to make life harder on us because of Memphis. Just like Rodney King made life hard on cops everywhere.
I think that's and right, wrong, or indifferent. And I know when Kevin talks about Marxism, and I know the deeper, because I am fascinated and love listening to Louis Farrakhan, who just talked about in some of his preachings, talking about we're killing each other. And none of us want to. I just saw him do a recent speaking on the Memphis situation, and nobody wants to talk about it. Regardless of the race, regardless of the community. He's saying we bear responsibility ourselves with our own community.
Yeah. And that's the thing with Kevin. With every Black Lives Matter, that is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Every Black Lives Matter is saying, look, you're right. It does matter, but we bear responsibility, and nobody's giving them play.
Yeah, Kevin, who's called you to do an hour on this topic so far? Huh?
No one.
Couple of white dudes from Cleveland. Like, that's what I'm saying. They're not going to talk about it. You're not talking about it.
Exactly.
And you're doing the work, Kevin.
No one else.
You're doing the work, man. I mean, what you say is common sense.
Thank you, Kevin.
Well, see, all right, you got at least one.
Get the book. Can I get a signed copy? Can Warren get a signed copy?
Oh, Kevin will give you a signed copy.
Oh, yeah.
Dwayne can sign his copy and ship it to you.
I just want to hang out with Dwayne.
Listen, Dwayne's a good dude. Dwayne's quiet. We got to get Dwayne loosened up. We gave him a little bit of bourbon, but it's not working. I don't know. What do you need?
No, I'm good, man. I'm enjoying it. It's not conflict, here. I don't really have to say too much and agree.
Yeah, but you're enjoying to get to hear other people say the same things that you've been thinking and hearing this whole time.
Yeah.
When we had episode 48, it was a great conversation too. I suggest everyone go back to Spotify or wherever you listen to and check out episode 48.
Yeah, for sure. And man, we still got to get Kevin back on here because the whole Frederick Douglass thing is amazing to me. And we said we were going to have you on here and talk about it.
Do you know they will cancel Frederick Douglass
Black History
today?
Month starting tomorrow, guys.
Oh!
Starting Wednesday.
All right.
In February.
All right.
Got some wonderful Frederick Douglass and Marx.
Hey,
a lot of people didn't know that Frederick Douglass and Karl Marx were contemporaries.
Yeah.
They were born the exact same year
Yep.
and went completely different directions. And I have a whole thing I do on that.
So we're going to send
have
this.
A Black History conversation. Get me on in February.
We're going to send this episode to Mike from Freedom Square. So he's going to listen to it. So, they've got you, they've got us. There's a whole lot of folks that rely on Freedom Square here. I think Freedom Square should do us a solid. And I think they should probably get this one done quick so that we can get into Frederick Douglass.
So we can go to the Freedom Square studio and do it there live.
What we need to do is get you, Kevin, into the Freedom Square studios with us for a good steak dinner, a little bit of bourbon. We get back to their studio and we do a show. What do you think?
Absolutely. March. I'll be in Chicago.
IC Tech cooler.
IC Tech cooler. We're pulling the cold bears out of IC Tech coolers.
You're going to be out there in March?
And, we can do it. We can do it. That like the 23rd or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, looking at putting us on the spot. All right.
I'm already checking the calendar, bud.
Yeah.
March 23rd.
I'm down with that. And then we get Jeff Berman out there too. Berman?
From Tusk.
Yeah, from Tusk Browser.
That's a Thursday, March 23rd.
All right. We're going to talk about this. We're going to get this figured out. We're all going to get out there. We're going to bring Duane with us. Duane doesn't have to drive. He can just sleep in the back and shit.
We'll
take care of it.
We don't want him driving anyway. It might look bad.
Yeah, we don't want him drive. We don't need to be getting stopped by any state troopers on the way.
Going through another state.
All right, listen, man. Warren, Kevin, man, we appreciate you guys for sure. The perspectives have been fantastic. Warren, we're going to get you out here for a show on policing, just in general.
I appreciate it. And truly, I mean, thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Duane. I mean, just a great conversation. I hope to be a part of the answer. And listen, if there's something about teaching inner city youth how to tie, Windsor knots and, things for their ties and future, I mean, I've always tried to live my life that way, and whatever I can do to help, I'm there.
Right on, man. Hey, what's going on with the Senate race? Are you running yet?
Are you ready to announce something today?
We already announced it on your episode.
Guys, I have fully embraced capitalism, and I'm just going to, maybe peddle some of Kevin's books and just look for marketing opportunities. But the politics are a little thankless down here in Cuyahoga Falls at the moment. So they are turning more and more blue as we speak.
Listen, man, we're not talking about Cuyahoga Falls. We're talking about the United States of America, bro.
Listen,
that's right.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well,
I get it.
All right.
Well, you guys got to stick around for this toast real quick.
Yeah. So,
since this is a show about policing,
go ahead.
We do this toast at the end of almost every episode, especially the ones that pertain to law enforcement.
Warren will know this guy.
Yep, to number 45, Josh McTarian lost his life from a scumbag on a routine traffic stop, and the world is a lot worse off without him.
Yep, and we had Holly McTarian, his wife. We had her on here. Josh's whiskey of choice was Old Granddad, which I wish I could talk to Josh for just 30 seconds. I wish I could bring him back here and be like, bro, listen, Old Granddad, because this is hurting us.
We got to shoot this every show,
this
bud.
This is hurting us, yeah.
Dan, I told you guys I worked with him, right? He was the first period with Cuyahoga Falls before he went to Twinsburg. So I sat with him, talked to him, and so it's especially,
Yeah, and I tell you what, truth be told, we don't get the opportunity to cheers him every episode, but on the episodes that pertain to stuff like this, we will always cheers to him.
Yep,
so
for sure.
One more if I can, fellas.
Yep.
Officer Dan Crabtree, Cuyahoga Falls, went back to Desert Storm, and I remember on midnights and stuff with Dan, and got killed in Desert Storm. But I was like, dude, why do you want to go back, reserves and go back to Desert Storm? But Officer Dan Crabtree,
all right,
killed in Desert Storm.
He probably drank stuff better than Old Granddad, but you know what? We'll take it.
I think it was split malt liquor, actually, now you say it.
Exactly. So anyway, man, hey, listen, to Josh McTarian.
All right, here's to Josh.
Cheers.
Cheers to Josh. All right, Kevin, Warren, we appreciate y'all.
Well,
Thank you,
I
gentlemen.
just want to say I appreciate you all so much. You guys are really, really,
Tell them we're doing the Lord's
protecting
work.
America.
We're doing the Lord's work.
Yeah,
You
you're
can
doing
say
the
it.
Lord's work, and you're keeping us safe. And I just want to thank you for your services and for everything that you guys do with the podcast and helping to get the word out. Warren, it's been a real pleasure, brother. So God bless you. Be safe. And we'll talk. We'll talk hopefully next month, guys. All right.
You got it, man. We're definitely going to be in touch.
All right. Take
All
care.
right.
Thank you,
Yeah.
gentlemen.
All right. Take care, guys. All right. Yep. Dude, I'll take that episode all day,
Yeah, that's good stuff.
bro. And then Dwayne's just sitting here with his arms crossed, like
He just
doesn't
came
say
here. He
shit.
just came here to drink.
Yeah,
Yeah, whatever,
Dwayne came in
man.
and drank all our shit. He's not even talking.
Is that enough?
Fuck.
Okay, floor's yours, bud.
Okay.
What's
Yeah.
the
All right,
finish?
so we're going to mute ourselves. Go ahead.
This is all done by design, by the leftists, to usher in a federal police force throughout the United States.
At Bernadine.
Wow. He put his
Cousin.
no.
Bernadine's his cousin.
My aunt.
Oh, aunt. Anna.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, his aunt. I keep inviting her. How many times?
She's not coming in.
Dude, probably 4 or
Oh,
5
my
times.
God.
Every time she'll put some bullshit on there, and I'm like, "Hey, we'd love to talk to you about this on Pod Bless America."
Oh my goodness, the 20 shots. She's like, you don't need more than 20. I was like, so I'll just load in 19. Will that work for you? It's like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Jesus.
she's all over the place.
she is
but
all over the
God
place.
bless her.
No, listen, I agree with you. I think it is by design, right? It's hard for me to go down that road because there's still a part of me that says nobody would really want to destroy this country, right?
Yet.
But the more and more it happens,
It has to be on purpose.
right? This is not by accident anymore. This isn't by ignorance anymore. You're right.
You put incompetent people in charge. You make policies, then you blame racism for your policy.
Well,
so
and
that you
the
destroy
whole
the
Biden
police
administration is nothing but people that don't belong there. They're all checked. They're all boxes to check.
Those health and
Oh, my
energy
God. Dude, what is that guy? Is that the guy that steals all the luggage?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, they sent him overseas, and the Russians was making fun of us. Sending out tweets.
Look at this guy. He's got a bald head, looks like a dude, bright red lipstick, and a dress.
Squirrel.
No,
We're going to talk about cops. Let's talk about Paul Pelosi answering the door with a drink in his hand.
Listen though, it's top down. When you have an administration that's doing this, that's hiring boxes to check, that's what you get with your police departments.
Yeah.
Which is why they hire this CJ
whatever her name is.
Yeah.
She don't belong there.
No, but she checked a couple boxes.
She's probably going to
Black
get
young woman,
She's probably going to get an 8% raise this year.
You know what? We have to check to see if she's lesbian. She checked 3 boxes.
3 boxes.
Yeah.
Woo. So, man, I'm still looking at the same article with all these Democrats that came out. Florida, which is normally, I know they got Democrats here, but it's a free state still. But Florida Democratic Congressman Maxwell Frost posted, but then deleted. Too late. Once you post it, it's all over. Doesn't matter what color these police officers are. The murder of Tyre Nichols is anti-black and the result of white supremacy.
Oh, still.
Come on.
Why do they care so much?
Because that's what gets votes.
And there isn't enough white supremacy out there.
No, right. But this is my thing. As much death is going on in the black community,
Yeah.
you pick and choose the black on black crime. I understand these are employees of the city or whatever, so it makes a difference. But you never hear nothing from them. Black people are getting killed every day in Memphis
by black
other
folks.
black people, and
look
not
at
a word.
Chicago.
Not a word.
Black folks killing black folks. Nope.
Well, do you have a problem with like black militants? Do you see any black militants or black supremacists out where you live? Do you know any? Do you know 1 or 2?
I don't know. I see some people that claim. Look,
You got Duane flustered, bro.
They claim to be. Can you edit stuff out?
Sure we can.
Okay, they claim to be black militants, or they come off as extra black and I'm pro-black.
Extra black.
I'm pro-black. This Malcolm X type, but they're running around with white women. So
I can't hate on him for that, though.
Me either. I got the receipts, I like white women myself, but I'm not coming off as Malcolm
be about
X.
that life, right?
Quit lying.
Be about that life.
Quit lying.
But if you remember our last episode, I said the majority of the people that I know,
kill you.
the majority of the people that I know are white, and I don't know a skinhead. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know a person.
Look, and I've said that before, right?
Yeah.
I've been in law enforcement for 30 years. I don't know a racist cop. I know thousands of cops from schools from all over. I know thousands. I don't know one racist cop.
That's what I was going to. Most of them, I tell people, they're assholes. If you run across one, they're treating white people the same way.
Yeah, right.
Because
right.
they're just assholes.
Exactly. It's got nothing to do with black or white. They're just dicks.
Yeah, it just happened. You just happen to be their target that day.
Man.
It is what it is.
God damn, dude. Oh, God, I wish I could talk to Kendra right now. Let's call her. Let's get her on the phone. Let's get her on the phone.
She'll tell you.
Oh, I bet she would too. You know what? We're gonna have her on.
What's your problem with women? I don't have a problem with women until they.
You know what? We're gonna invite Duane here. We're gonna have Duane sitting there, and then right before we go live, she's gonna walk in, and she's gonna sit down, and we're gonna hear the true story. Shit, you still working for the home building? Yeah. How's that going?
Not bad. It's a little slow right now.
Hard to find good help.
I'm sure my drywaller could use some drywall help.
The hanger or the finisher?
Finisher.
How much you pay?
I just got a real job. I don't need that shit.
Yeah, I hear you, man. They're bringing those knuckleheads.
What about how's the price of goods going?
I don't deal too much with that, but they came down. But other stuff goes up. Anything with oil in it, and which is after everything is.
I was just talking to a guy. He works at 84 Lumber, and he says the prices come down.
The lumber, yeah,
but they're about to shut down two or three places in Canada that is going to drive the price right back up. Like they're used to their profits, so they're shutting down some mills in Canada where they're getting a lot of their lumber. I don't know if it's true. I mean, this is what an inside guy told me. So I don't know. Man, we got a lot more we could talk about. We got to get going. I mean, this has been a good episode, but
yeah.
I mean, we've been away for a while, and there's a lot that I want to talk about.
We'll have them black. Don't worry about it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. Racist ass misogynist. Oh, no, that's you.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm sorry. Duane's a racist misogynist. Listen, man, you got to get back. Come on. When you get here, you're here. You're us.
I get there.
You got to jump in.
Yeah.
You got to jump. You got jokes? Tell us your best dad joke. Go.
Dude, you put me on the spot.
No, all right. All right. You know what?
Man.
Hold on. We'll give you a second. Me and Dan will talk amongst ourselves.
I don't have a second, man. Sorry, I can't help you.
No,
with the jokes,
you don't know a dad joke. Are you kidding me?
I'm sure I do. But now that you put me on the spot, I can't think of none.
Watch this. Go.
I didn't have one.
Oh, come on. You're a dirty whore. God damn it. What do you mean? Oh, my God, you let me down.
I did. I thought, too, I was going to do it.
Oh,
do it.
You panicked.
No, I mean, I don't know. My mother-in-law hit me with one, and I was like, I'm using it, and then I forgot it.
I'm trying to think of ones I sent to my daughter. I can't even.
Those are the best dad jokes.
Yeah, I can't even think of them.
Come on.
I bet you my oldest would have pulled one out of her ass. She gets me good ones all the time.
Well, let's get out of here. Listen, I'm not going to use our outro. We need a new outro. Yeah, I'm not going to use it.
You can find us on a couple different spots. Pretty soon we'll tell you where that's going to be.
Facebook for sure. Listen, if you're listening to this, at least go like our Facebook page. If you're not, if you don't want to follow it, don't follow it, but at least like it, right?
And keep in mind that I got a message from somebody today that said that they had to go back and re-like it, and my number really didn't change. So it was Facebook. It was kind of crazy.
Facebook removed people. Mm-hmm. The guy had said that, basically he hadn't seen us, so he went and he searched us out. It found out that he was no longer liking us.
Well, I get your post 3 days late.
It was that.
It was
always.
Yeah, I never saw like 3 days late.
Yeah.
Do you know him?
No.
All right.
And then, like my sister said that we're in her favorites, and even when we go live, she doesn't get a notification.
Yeah, 3 days later.
It's because we're conservative. I mean, we know what it is, right? But the only way to beat this thing is for you guys to go and like our page. It's at Pod Bless America on Facebook.
Yep. When we do finally roll out the YouTube, getting the the subscriptions and the shares and the likes and the views is going to help. We're on Twitter at Jim and Dan Show.
I'm going to put Freedom Square on the spot right now because they said they're going to get us a bomb-ass intro and outro. So
They got makeup artists for you guys?
Damn, he's got jokes.
Bitch.
You might have to do some shit.
Bitch, you're the one. We were going to go live, and you're like, I don't want to be on video.
I need some Just for Men. That's right.
Look at this guy.
He was plucking them for a while, and then they got away from him, huh? Who? You ain't no motherfucking owl.
Yeah, I ain't plucking. You know why? I earned every one of these. Every one, bro. You want to talk about distinguished? Man, who the fuck? Yeah, look, now. See? Now you're all out of control over
Just
here.
assault
All right.
an African-American male?
We got to go.
It's almost
I'm going to give you one more chance.
No.
You don't have a joke?
No. I'm sorry.
People come to expect dad jokes.
I let you down. No, you expect dad jokes.
Whatever. I got to go.
All right.
Do you have anything else?
Have a good day.
Duane, what do you got? Anything?
Jesus.
Good night.
Good night.
So, Sheriff Lamb, welcome.
Dude, I got to bring you two on as my hype men all the time.
All you have to do is just go along. Just put your mask on. Just because I might not agree with it, that doesn't mean I lose my right to parent my kid.
Leave the jokes to me, Chief. This is what gets Jim fired up.
It's not communism that's going to destroy this country. It's not socialism that's going to destroy this country. What's going to destroy this country is apathy. Don't count on anybody coming to save you. It is time to save ourselves.